Hello and welcome to this short Star Wars The Old Republic class guide video. Star Wars The Old Republic was released in 2011, makes about $165 million annually, and has received extremely high ratings from players ever since its release. It's 100% free to play the game's first 8 character class storylines, clocking in at the very least 160 hours of free gameplay. You have nothing to lose and hours of entertainment to gain, so let me explain the best way for you to have a fantastic experience playing Star Wars The Old Republic. Before we get started, it's important to understand that combat gameplay and role-playing are equally important. While there's plenty of fighting and PvP options, the story of each character and their decisions is a huge part of the game. Choosing a beginning class for their story is just as important as choosing one for their combat style. With that in mind, let's begin with the Republic classes, starting with the iconic Jedi Knight. The Jedi Knight's combat style is solely melee lightsabers. Within the Jedi Knight's class are 2 subclasses, Guardian and Sentinel. The Guardian wields one lightsaber to deal damage, but also has abilities to absorb damage and become a tank. The Sentinel dual wields and focuses on dealing high amount of damage to targets, but must have a tank or a healing companion to support them. The Jedi Knight's story is perfect if you want a classic hero versus villain Star Wars story. For some, this storyline might be a little bit dull because it's the hero story we've all seen before, but if you enjoy classic hero stories and being at the front of the action, the Jedi Knight is a good choice for your first Star Wars The Old Republic experience. While Jedi Knights are the warriors for the Republic, Jedi Counselors gather the secrets of the galaxy for the Republic's use and safekeeping. The Jedi Counselor is a great class if you really want to discover deep and obscure lore of the Star Wars galaxy. You play a much more backseat role as you discover ancient lore before it falls into the wrong hands. The subclasses of Sage and Shadow are a little bit more versatile than the Jedi Knights. While both deal damage, the Sage can also be a healer and make ranged force attacks, while the Shadow can become invisible to avoid combat altogether. But not all heroes wield lightsabers. The Republic has a proper military, and as a trooper, you command the most decorated special ops force the Republic has to offer, Havoc Squad. Using guns instead of lightsabers, the trooper has much more ranged combat options. In addition, you can choose your squad function by having more medical skills by playing a commando, or taking the heat for the team by being a vanguard. The Trooper storyline is great if you don't prefer basic good versus evil storylines. The Trooper's decisions are almost always morally gray, which is realistic to actual military operations. If you choose this class, it's important to think about your character's personality, priorities, and morals to get the most enjoyment out of this storyline. In stark opposition, the Smuggler answers to no one but his own interests and priorities. The only real question you have to ask yourself is, how much farther do I put my interests above others? Similar to the Trooper, the Smuggler also has more morally gray options for you to make, but in this story it's all about you. Meaning, instead of choosing to either save a Republic special agent or 300 civilians, you're choosing how much or little you want to destroy an operation to serve your needs. In addition, the Smuggler, both male and female, have much more opportunities to talk and flirt their way out of trouble. If you don't mind having fewer hit points, the Gunslinger subclass deals huge amounts of damage to large amounts of enemies. The other option is the Scoundrel, who can turn invisible to land the first hit, deals high amounts of damage to single targets, and can heal allies. All of these are great heroes to play as, if you're interested in pursuing the unattainable peace foolishly envisioned by the Republic. If you're wise enough to see that unifying the galaxy under one powerful rule is the most efficient option, you will choose a class that serves the Empire. Like the warlords of old, the Sith warrior leads armies into battle as they command respect and terror from both friends and foes. Although never far from a battlefield, a true Dark Lord is also cunning and manipulative in politics. Whether it's ironic or fitting, the Sith Warrior and Jedi Knight have very similar subclasses. The Sith subclass Juggernaut is a tank damage combo wielding one lightsaber, like the Jedi Guardian, and the Sith Marauder is a dual-wielding damage dealer, like the Jedi Sentinel. Story is the biggest difference, along with some differing abilities and flavor changes. Regarding the Sith Warrior story, it's almost the opposite of the Jedi's good versus evil. The Sith Warrior is all about personal victory and power. You are the best the Empire has to offer. you are destined for greatness, and you won't let anyone stand in your way. While the Jedi Counselor seeks ancient knowledge and artifacts to keep them safe, the Sith Inquisitor puts ancient knowledge to use. Although Force Lightning is the signature of all Inquisitors, the Sith Sorcerer has mastered the art, being able to call down unholy lightning storms or siphon life to heal allies. The assassin can creep up to a target unseen, deliver fatal blows, and vanish before reinforcements can arrive. Like the Jedi Counselor, the Sith Inquisitor uncovers deep Sith lore, political schemes, and dark secrets. But the Inquisitor is unique in that you gain power in a very unorthodox way. This class is a good choice for people who love discovering detailed lore of the Sith. The Empire spares no expense in eliminating threats. If the Empire marks a person for death, they will never be safe from a bounty hunter. In the Bounty Hunter story, your life is hunting target after target, each one more dangerous or important than the last. Similar to the Trooper, you would get much more enjoyment out of this class if you decide your character's personality and morals ahead of time. The Bounty Hunter subclasses are both heavy damage dealers, with the Power Tech also being a mid-range tank, and the Mercenary having long-range attacks and healing options. Last but not least, the Imperial Agent is the hidden backbone of the Empire. While Sith warriors ravage battlefields and face enemies directly, agents work subtly and tie up loose ends by means of infiltration, assassination, and seduction. While the storyline itself is more behind the scenes, it's one of the more in-depth and complicated out of the 8 classes. If you want to play through a sci-fi James Bond story, this is the best class for you. Regarding combat, the Agent mirrors the Smuggler almost perfectly. The Operative uses stealth, healing, and ambush techniques, and the Sniper is a pure damage dealer to single or multiple targets. Now you have everything you need to know to choose the best class for you for your first Star Wars: The Old Republic experience. Play the game, change the galaxy.